Last time we saw the same season high 22 steals, but generally speaking, how pivotal is it to be aggressive with balance defensively in order to create a little offense for you?
Yeah, I think one thing that I'll say, they're a different team than they were at that point. As far as they had really been fighting through injuries. I think Bruce Brown, I think that was his first game back. He was on a minutes restriction. There was a number of guys that Mitchell didn't play. So this will be a different game. I think for us, being aggressive but also disciplined defensively is important. And that's something, that all the metrics we keep defensively, we know when we're playing the right way defensively, so to speak, and we need to do that tonight. We didn't do it last night. There are other games where we didn't do it. We did it the last time we played these guys, and we need to do it again.
It's the first time to be without Clint this season.
Yeah.
How do you kind of navigate that going into the night?
Yeah, Quint, you used to, not that you don't appreciate him, when he's playing, but sometimes, the reality of not having a player for a given game, makes you reflect a little bit on, just the type of player and person that he's been, and will be again. Hopefully he's not going to be out long, but just have tons of respect for him. Onyeka starting the last couple games, the way Clint supported him. Onyeka's, those guys have done that for each other. But just Clint's a tremendous teammate, and he comes every night, and he's got a lot of pride in doing his job. And he's a guy for a coach that you feel fortunate to have an opportunity, not just to coach, but just to be around all the time, because we all spend a lot of time around each other.
Q, you've often talked about offense not being stagnant, ball movement, and how it creates shot quality. Mm-hmm. Is that something that you are trying to focus on a little bit more, considering there was some slight struggles last night with getting shots to go down last night?
Brian, it's interesting. First of all, the answer, like every night, that's what we want, right? And I think there are things that we emphasize for our group, and every team's different. Whether that be spacing or passing, pace, multiple actions, those are things that help us generate good offense. We were pretty open last night, and that was an epically poor shooting night. And they don't come around very often. I think it's also a mistake to just kind of write something off to miss shots, but there's a reality associated with that as far as sometimes you because the ball doesn't go in, you can feel like you're not doing the right thing. And I think we can move the ball more. Like last night, Trey was throwing the ball ahead. Like I think someone told me he had his lowest usage rate in years, and that means he's passing the ball. It didn't show up on the scoreboard with assists because we weren't making shots. And he's got to keep passing the ball, and we've got to keep spacing, and we've all got to pass it back to him. He's got to space, and sometimes when the game gets like that and you're not making shots, it can be discouraging. And the thing that can't happen is it can't impact your defense, and that's what I saw last night more than anything.
Hey Coach, that's my mic. I promise it's harmless.
Oh, okay. All right,
here.
you came clean.
You come in peace.
All right.
With your coaching staff, with Brittany and Ryan, obviously we know them with their impact with the Raptors, but also
Right.
the CEBL. How do you feel that they've impacted your staff and your roster?
I've been doing this for a while, and this is the best staff that I've, as an assistant or a head coach, that I've ever been a part of. And Brittany and Ryan are a big part of that. Not only I could speak about them independently, but I'll do it together because out of efficiency. And they're both incredibly talented, very bright, have the ability, to connect with players. Ryan obviously has been a head coach. That gives him a perspective for me that's really valuable. having been through some of those decisions that you only get to experience as a head coach. Brittany's contribution, you can find her thumbprints on so many different things. Whether it's strategic, tactical, the player development part that she probably doesn't get enough credit for because people just don't know her background with player development. That's where I first came in contact with her. She developed an entire player development system, which is pretty remarkable. So I feel fortunate that they both have elected to be here and be a part of this group.
Hey, Coach, with the injury to Quin and being out of the rotation for tonight, what maybe minutes or how do more minutes maybe open up for a guy like Dominic Barlow and his ability to be at 4 and a 5 and some of that versatility?
Yeah, I think that's a conversation that we've had with Dom, just his versatility. I think right now, tonight, the opportunity for him to play, he's ready for that. Sometimes it's it's interesting that I've talked about this before. Be ready, keep getting better. It's hard to continue to improve. Ultimately, like being able to compete in games is a part of that process, and that helps you kind of learn about yourself and know what you need to do better. And the Chicago game, with DeQuan and Keaton getting the opportunity to play, and then Dom not. Well, now it's Dom's turn, and all you can do is be ready and not put too much pressure on yourself. I just want him to go out there and compete, and let the chips fall, and have a lot of confidence in it.
Hey, Coach. I wanted to ask you from the Toronto Raptors perspective. When you come to a matchup like this, and obviously Scotty's 1 or 2 under Scotty report, what type of challenges does Scotty Barnes present to you guys defensively in terms of how you guys want to cover him, and what are the keys to sort of like slowing down a fight like that?
Well, he makes you guard him in a lot of different situations, and what that does is it just puts pressure on you in transition, puts pressure on you driving the ball in the half court. He puts pressure on you on the post, on the offensive glass. So you just can't. You can't lose concentration at any point in time, because he is able to take advantage of those things from a versatility standpoint, handling in pick and roll, setting screens in pick and roll. And although an individual matchup is certainly important, I think he's one of those guys, because of all those things that he does, that puts pressure on your whole team defensively.